Hey guys, welcome back to Etheria Restart. In today's video, I wanted to go through a bit of a summary of what happened in their final test direct, which was the dev live stream that happened before the final beta test, and then the global launch, which is happening on June 5 official release date. So I want to go through some specific things. We'll also jump into the game itself. I've got a test build of it and talk about some of the things that were spoken about and clip in some highlights from the dev live stream. But in general, I think this was a fantastic dev live stream. I am super excited for the game. You guys know, if you've been watching the channel, this is pretty much what I have been waiting for. Now, before we do go any further, I do have to give Etheria Restart a massive shout out for sponsoring this video, but you guys know this is something I would be covering anyway, because since that beta where I grinded my absolute ass off, this is all I've been waiting for. So let's jump in and talk about it. Now, just quickly, for those, if you've come to this video and you've never heard of Etheria Restart before, I do have a bunch of other videos going through the game on the channel already, but essentially it is a turn-based gacha game with a heavy emphasis on PvP, but also having a ton of PvE modes, which I will go through in this video as well. But that's just the TLDR of what the game is, in case you've come to this video not knowing anything about it. This test direct was an hour and 15 minutes long. I did a stream of it as well. If you go to the one specifically on their site though, you can also check that out. And the top comment actually has like all timestamps for a bunch of stuff that they went through. So the top comment is fantastic. Go there, make use of that top comment, and jump around if you want to see specific things. Because like I said, it's an hour and 15 minutes. We're going to do a very narrowed down summary in this one. Now, the first thing that I got super excited about was that they announced 5 new characters, which for me, because I played the beta, anything new is going to be super exciting. For you guys, they're just going to be more characters at the base of the game, with the new first banner character for release being Freya, who does look pretty cracked. Now, I'm not going to go through their skills in this one. This is not the video for that, but just to let you guys see the designs of some of the characters and the fact that they are obviously going to be continuing to release new characters. But let's jump in and talk about the actual direct, which was like a interview with the director, which I thoroughly enjoyed. Massive shout out to Etheria for asking me onto this one. It was myself, Sean B, and Zox that were on, along with Chris, community manager, and also we had Jack, who is the game director. Can I just say that having the game director on there was pretty massive. I'm just going to change the screen so we have something to look at, a bit of characters. But with Jack and the way he sort of presented himself was absolutely fantastic. Even behind the scenes, before we were even recording or anything like that, he was just a really down-to-earth guy, really fun to just interact with and chat to and talk about the game, because obviously we're passionate about the game, so it was fun to give suggestions and stuff like that. But I thought the openness of Jack throughout the game, talking about the different systems that they've been implementing and sort of like peeling back the curtain, was fantastic. Now, I will talk about more stuff, but I just wanted to highlight this part at the start, because when we went into the fact that the game doesn't have a 50-50. Now, we are over on a test build of the game. So it's not actually like a live beta build. This is like a back-end test build that we use for PvP tournaments. So there is no rate up banner. But on the rate up banners, there is no 50-50. And that is a huge thing. And he sort of explained, the thought process of the business behind a 50-50 system, where the 50-50 is basically there to make characters more expensive so that games can make more money. And he was very open, saying, they're removing a bunch of this stuff like the 50-50. They're lowering the base cost of summons compared to, I guess, their base test of where they were going to have it. They've reduced the cost. And all these things are basically reducing the cost of getting characters. Now, let me talk about the dupes in a sec as well. But he speaks about how doing all this stuff is basically lowering the cost, because having a 50-50 is just there to increase the cost of characters and stuff like that. And he just says, like, we hope that players enjoy our game enough to support us, and that's how they plan to make their revenue. Obviously, you're always going to have characters coming out, which hopefully, games can make enough revenue, because it is a balance. But the fact that they're going to more of a free-to-play / budget-friendly model is huge for me. Something else that they mention is dupes, because you guys know I hate in games when you've got a duping system where you feel like you need to pull X amount of dupes of the character to be able to actually play them in their functionality. I just want to give you guys an example in here of what the duping system looks like. First dupe, attack HP and defense by 5% increase. Heal received plus 10%. Attack defense HP by 5%. Effect resistance 12%. Increases damage dealt by 10% and reduces damage taken by 10%. That is it. There is no this character unlocks this ability to actually function how we intended them to, and you have to pull it to get to that. I love that these are just raw stats. Now, raw stats are still an advantage. Previously, the real-time arena, these dupes didn't actually count in the real-time arena either. So we'll have to see. I don't know if that will be the same at global, but you know, that's promising as well. But the fact that there is no functionality locked behind duping in this game is absolutely fantastic to me, and I love that type of system. So once again, I think one of the highlights for a lot of people was how player focused the game seems to be from that dev live stream. Definitely felt it in the beta myself that I grinded through a ton. But I think that was the main focus that a lot of people highlighted that I've spoken to since the dev stream, was that it is very player focused and trying to bring enjoyment to the players. And that is something I absolutely love. Like I said, dupe systems being, you know, not really disgusting in that you need to pull characters. No 50-50 on the rate up banners. The character, when their rate up banner comes, they also get put into the standard banner, which is absolutely huge. The other thing is that if we go to the permanent summon, so this is your standard banner summon. You can see it uses the purple cards. This one is your light dark summon. I'm just going to call it light dark, and they use the gold one. So these are harder to get because if you look at probabilities here, you can see in this one, this is only going to get you light dark units, which in a lot of games, these things are hard as hell to get. However, if you go to the permanent summon and we go to probabilities, you can see that it's a 0.75% chance to get a standard element, but you still have a 0.25% chance of getting yourself one of the light dark SSRs. Same goes with the SRs as well. You can see you can get the light dark SRs down there as well. But the fact that you can get these, like, you know, what would are seen as higher rarity units from the standard banner still, I think that is absolutely fantastic. So a lot of these systems are looking really good, and I think that was one of the main highlights of the dev live stream. Now, they also went through a bunch of the different game modes that we have. So I just want to jump in here and show you. Now, they did highlight at the start a lot of arena. So we have the standard arena on the left here, which is basically, you know, set your 4-man defense, other people attack your AI defense. That's it. Summit arena is going to be your real-time arena where you jump in, you pick a character. Once you pick it, the other person can't pick. Maybe in the lower leagues, there isn't the banning system. I'm not too sure exactly how that's going to work through the leagues, but we'll have to wait and see. But that's your basic real-time arena. And then they mentioned the Fearless Arena during the dev live stream, which is going to be a tournament-based arena system where they said it was going to be open on weekends, and you can queue for it, and you go into you get put into like an 8-person draft for a tournament, and you play through tournaments in-game. I think that is going to be really fun. I think that's going to be really cool. I'm curious to see if you can like plan out to have specific people in it or whether it's always random. I think there's a lot of good systems that can come from that. So very, very PvP focused. I love PvP in gacha games. I know a lot of people think it's sus, but I think in this game, if you play it, you might find some enjoyment in it. I definitely think give it a chance. But for those that don't like PvP, the thing is, there is a ton of other stuff that they went through in the PvE modes. Now, this top section is just all your farming areas. Shells, which are kind of like the weapons, they're the little pets that you get with your characters. Then we've got the modules, that is going to be your gearing system. Animus XP, that's just XP to level up your characters. And then Prowess material, that's like for limit breaking. I'm going to call it traces. I can show you over here quickly what that does. If we go into the prowess here, you can upgrade. It's kind of like your skills, but you know, as you upgrade your skills, this is all farmable stuff. You get different ability unlocks and stat unlocks along the way. Now, these ones, the materials to get the actual skill upgrades, these are going to be rarer and not fully farmable. You're going to get them from events and stuff like that, so you have to plan them out. But that is what that stage is for when we look to farming. But then we also have these other modes. Now, this one, the Echoes, this one was so fun in the beta. Pushing through this, there was this boss, like you guys will remember this boss unless they change it. This boss was a nightmare. There was so many people stuck here, but these like really hard bosses, but the rewards from this thing are absolutely amazing. These red ones here, these are for getting your characters from 5-star to 6-star. They are super valuable. A bunch of pools. These are for unlocking those skill upgrades as well. So there's a lot of great materials and resources to come from this mode. It's absolutely fantastic. Then we have this one, the Phantom Theater. I actually really enjoyed this. This is a team up challenge. You join one other player and you got to defeat 3 bosses. So you can choose who fights which boss specifically. So you have a team for one of these bosses, the other player has a team for one of them, and then you combine your characters for one of the other ones, which is really, really fun. It was super fun in beta because it was a limited roster and we were teaming up with guys doing our best to actually clear these things. So this is going to be another fun PvE mode, co-op PvE mode to go ahead and jump into with your friends. We have this one, which is I refer to as the Tower mode, which resets monthly. So this one's going to be a great one to go ahead and get some extra resources. It's kind of like, those little sandbox type like map areas where you run around as the MC, stab people in the back, and then you get to boss stages where you got to clear the bosses, which is the real function of this one. That resets monthly with great rewards. And then we have the Ethernet Rally. Now this is one where this is one I played the least because it unlocks the latest. I played it the least in the beta, but you're going to have 3 different points to deploy teams from, and you got to deploy the teams, and you're going to get different rewards through different nodes, and the characters that you can deploy are going to differ depending on which node you deploy through, and then you want to eventually work your way up with your teams and beat the boss. Once again, another great way to get some more rewards. So those are the PvE modes that they highlighted, along with limited time events. There is going to be a bunch of limited time events rolling through that you can get some extra rewards. But like I said, I think the core PvE modes, being these 4 limited modes, are fantastic and are going to be pretty enjoyable for PvE players. And then this one, like I said, up the top here is just your farmable type stuff. Now, on top of that, they mentioned the Union. Dude, is there any free join ones? Dude, I'm not in one. Oh, wait, there we go. Okay. Sorry, this build of the game, I haven't jumped in. But this one is the Union. The cool thing about the Union is the Union Assistance. If we go here, you can request fragments for one of your characters. And so these little items that you get are going to determine the element that you can give to players in your guild, and essentially you just get these through doing general stuff in the game. It's like you get them daily. So daily you're going to be able to probably get like 1 shard of a character to build up and get your duplicates for them, which is absolutely fantastic as like a free way to slowly work towards getting dupes for your favorite character, even though dupes aren't as impactful as in other games, which is cool. Then we also have this one here, which is your guild boss system. Really fun. They're those big bosses that, these battles can last a very long time trying to get the damage up there. I do like in these style of games, those big bosses that you can actually spend a long time in. If you're manualing these battles, they can take forever, but trying to build a nice auto team for these things is going to be really, really fun. I think I cleared the first and second boss in the beta. I can't remember if I got the second one completely down. But yeah, these were really fun to build teams for, to go ahead and get yourself some extra rewards. And there is going to be the United Front, which is going to be guild PvP, which I believe they said is not going to be in the game directly at launch, but it is going to be there eventually. But like I said, I think the general model of this game, the combat system, the character designs, just basically everything about this game has me really excited. And like I said, from the direct, the way they spoke about the game and their philosophies behind it has me having a lot of promise for it leading into the future. We will have to wait and see, but obviously when the next beta does start on the 8th of May and then the game releases on the 5th of June, I will be grinding the game, I'll be streaming, I'll be making plenty of content during both those periods. So if you want to join me, definitely sub up. But yeah, that's pretty much everything I wanted to go through. Like I said, if you do want to check out more, definitely jump over here and check out the direct itself. Once again, there are all those timestamps if you're curious on any specific thing, but I just wanted to give you my personal highlights from it so that you guys can have an idea of why I am so excited for this game in general. Once again, releasing on June 5 with a beta on May 8th. Definitely excited for this one. Stay tuned and we'll definitely have a lot more coming. But if you do have any questions, leave them in the comments. And during the beta, when I start making a ton more content, hopefully I can answer as many questions as I have before the actual release of the game for you guys. But once again, I just got to leave it on this. One of my favorite things is on these characters, they all have like a stand. Like she's got the Phoenix. I just think it's so damn cool. I just absolutely love it. If we go over here, you can see he's got like the twin ghoul things. Like I just love that type of character design. I really enjoy it. Anyway, I'm going to shut up now. That is the game. Once again, a massive shout out to Etheria Restart for sponsoring this video, and definitely start getting hyped for the game. And also, great sponsorship here. Link in the description. Go ahead, pre-register, use my link. Thank you guys. As always, thanks for watching. Hope you have an awesome day and I look forward to seeing the next one. Cheers.